All right, everyone, welcome back to Bartlett Guitars. If you watched the intro video, you know that I discussed doing the next video as the SG modification video. Well, here it is. We're going to go ahead and start tearing this thing apart, and we're going to put in the active pickups, the Floyd Rose bridge. We're going to do the intonation, and we're going to get this thing set up and playing perfectly. I'll show you how to do all this stuff. And like I said from my previous video, anybody can do this. It just takes patience. I'm going to bring you in closer and get a close-up view of this SG project. As you can see, it's somewhere in this corner here. That's what it looks like now, and we're gonna give it a facelift. All right, well, before we get this next project started and I tear into this SG, should probably get a before sound to it, and that way we have something to compare to it after we go ahead and basically redo this whole thing. Right now it's set up for just regular E standard tuning, but what we're going to end up doing is taking out these passive pickups. We're going to put active pickups in there. I want to put the Floyd Rose floating Tremolo on top of this. It's top mounted, and it'll be an all quick connect system, but it'll pretty much look exactly like this. Just the same color and everything. The hardware would just be a little different. And we're also going to tune this down to C. So it should be a pretty good difference in sound just in the tuning alone, but with the pickups and everything, this should help out. So probably do some clean stuff, some dirty stuff, and I don't know, maybe try and remember what I did later, or it doesn't really matter. Nah, it probably doesn't. All right, anyway. I don't remember if I said it or not, but we can only get the before and after out of the bridge pickup because the neck pickup doesn't actually work. And it's probably just a soldering issue, which I wasn't really too concerned with, seeing how I was gonna basically gut it anyway. All right, but there's some clean stuff. guess that's about it. So we can go ahead and start tearing this thing apart. I mean, the pickup, the one pickup that still works, yeah, sounds great. But why not do some modding, right? All right, so why don't we bring you on in and we'll start getting to work. We need to take all the strings off. We're gonna take this bridge, these bridges off. We're gonna take out the pickups, strings, all that, and then we'll start moving into the next step. All right, so it's important to have a nice neat work area, especially when it's you know, kind of a small space here. So while we got everything off, the great thing about doing this is we can get a real good deep cleaning on this thing. One of the things I really like to use is I get a toothbrush and use this for cleaning all of my all the guitar parts, that, especially with like scrubbing in between some of the areas that are pretty tight. Get a toothbrush that you can do the scrubbing with, and obviously one that you haven't already used for actually brushing your teeth. But put that polisher on and you can start really scrubbing in and getting a good clean in here. All right, so normally I use some kind of small string or fishing line or something like that. But seeing how I don't know where my string went, I think my wife used it. What I'm gonna do is just use the guitar cables and we'll see how that works. So basically the idea of this is you want to tape your string through with your pickup cables. So when you put the new pickups in, you can use this to drag the wires back through. And you want to use some kind of tape that's doesn't have like too much adhesive to it. So I normally just use like painter's tape. All right, so sometimes you have to feed it through and kind of help out feeding the cable through, or the wire. Then once we get it all run through, we'll get it set up, good to go. Now we no longer need these tied to this, but for now we'll just leave it in there so I know which pickup covers go in the right way, because if you could see, they're actually tapered here. So I mean, I guess if I left it like that I would know too, but you know, you get my point. All right, now the other thing that I really didn't like about this guitar is the white pickup guard, the white pickup guards here, or pick guards. So I got myself a pretty good replacement. So we'll go ahead and pop these in. With black, which should look a lot better. Should be much cleaner look, I think. Preferably, I would like to have the SG without a pickguard at all, because there's no need for it. But as you can see, just taking this off now, you've got the outline from the aging, not to mention you would have all the damn screw holes. So you kind of, once it's on there, you kind of got to leave it. All right, so I took the black one, the black pickguard. I lined up the screw holes, all but one. There's only one that wouldn't line up. And what I did was I Dremeled this nice and smooth so it fit right up against the pickguards. And then what I did was I used a razor and just backstroke the razor to have a nice smooth edge here, and smooth out the tiny rounded off corner that the Dremel couldn't actually round off. So I think that looks pretty good. I don't think it's going to end up being a problem, but it's got the nice curve, and should be ready to put in. The only difference is it's just that one screw hole that didn't line up. So I could either leave that screw out or I can make a new screw hole. I haven't decided yet. All right. So just to kind of show you what I was doing, in the main body, you can actually see the letters right next to the cable that's there. And you just got to line up the white, red, green, and black to the letters that are actually down into the main body, which is this here. And you just line that right up, slide them right in, and it's good to go. So we just got to make sure we line that up perfect, and then the switch will work like we want. Okay, so now we've got the bridge in, the neck in, all set up with the ground going to the grounding bus. We have the switch lined up in there as well. Okay, so then we'll have to figure out exactly where this will line up onto the body, which is probably roughly here. All right, well, we'll figure out a spot that this can go. All right, so I got that. Next thing, oh boy. All right, now that we're getting to this next step, I'm gonna clean everything up here and get to a nice workspace, and I'll come back and we'll continue. All right, now that we got some of that housekeeping done, I got a little bit of room to kind of maneuver around and stuff isn't in the way. Here's the diagram that we need to use to set up a bridge volume and tone and a neck volume and tone. So the guide is pretty easy. Just gotta, you know, take your time, follow it, make sure you got the things plugged in properly. And hopefully, once we get this all in, we can then take a look at how much space we have from the top of these control knobs to the bottom of this pickguard, or excuse me, backplate. And if it works out properly, hopefully we can then cut a hole in here and put the battery pack right in here. And that way I won't have to do the routing into the body like I had to do with a couple of the other guitars. All right, so I got the battery connection all set up. I took the sticker off and mounted the control panel in between these knobs here. And this battery pack should fit right here, perfect. The problem is it's a very tight situation. So I'm gonna have to measure all this out, get that perfect line up, so that way this will fit nice and flush. So I'm gonna do that off camera. I'm gonna get this all figured out. I'm just gonna cut a hole into this and then put this in here and mount it. All right. I told you guys that I would do the modifications I need to that back plate, get that battery pack all set up off camera, and then come back. Well, it was a late night. I did a lot of tweaking to this thing, and hopefully this will do the job that I need. Okay. So as you can see here, we've got it mounted in there. All right. The problem is, it looked like it was going to have just enough room, but because of the thickness of the control knobs in the back, it actually just barely didn't. So in order to make it work, what I did was I ended up having to sand the hole right through it but at least the battery won't be moving all around. Now this isn't the ideal situation I wanted, and good thing for this purpose is that at the very least it's temporary. I can change it out to something else afterward. Okay, I didn't have to make any routing holes in the rear of the guitar to make this work. Although when I did that, it was actually kind of cleaner, but this is 100% reversible, which is great. And I kept the original back plate. But as you can see, I kind of got a little messy trying to figure out how to make this work. So what I ended up doing was routing out this the hole for the battery pack, and then I used epoxy around the bottom of the lip so it would glue down from the top, and then I used it kind of like the idea of like welding. So I put it all the way around on the underside as well. So this thing's not going anywhere. The other problem I have, the Floyd Rose floating bridge, surface mounted bridge install. I will bring you in here so you can see what I'm talking about. They drilled the hole for this screw, and I drilled the hole for this screw, but of course this screw head broke off while I was tightening in there. So I need to now drill that screw out of there, which is another pain in the butt, and it is kind of unfortunate, but you know, what are you going to do? Sometimes this kind of stuff happens. So that's part of this project now. But the good thing is this doesn't stop the project how it is. Oh yeah, so to show you, yeah, I dremeled out this hole, and then I dremeled out the bottom of it and sanded it nice and smooth. And then I also dremeled out the pickguard here. So these, so the black one would fit. I just had to do some dremeling on the corners here. And it was this side and this side. And I believe along this edge and this edge. It was a couple of edges, but dremeled it out, sanded it up nice and smooth, and was able to fit in there. Same thing with this. No problem, got it in there. But I think the black looks a lot better. The Floyd Rose comes with all three Allen wrenches that you're gonna need, okay? Comes with all three of them. When you initially try and set it up, you wanna set your screws in roughly, well, I found that it's a little different for the Les Paul and then the SG. The SG, basically what you want to do is you want to kind of have this decked, really, because that way it has the right action. The Les Paul, you're going to leave it up a little bit more, and that's, I can't remember the measurement off the top of my head, but I want to say like roughly 5/8, I want to say, to have the screw from the bottom of the guitar to the top of the screw is basically like 5/8, I believe. And with the SG, you basically want to have it decked. So really what we've got to do is we'll just kind of put it on and not a set spot. It's not an official project until you drop some of your tools, right? Oh man. Okay. So because like I said, I already kind of done this before. And looks like this is going to be a little different this time because of this pickguard that is now in the way, which it wasn't with the other one. And I'm not going back. too high. All right. So I'm going to pause here because I got to figure out what I want to do with this. All right. Well, before I pause, when I figure out what I'm going to do, there's 2 pads that you use to put right underneath these Allen keyed bolts here, and basically you put them underneath them, and it's like a footing for what will raise and lower the action in the front, along with the 2 in the rear. So these work together with the ones in the rear. Okay, so I'm gonna figure out what I want to do. I just decided, screw it. I'm gonna put it where I want to put it, and if the pickguard is in the way, screw it. I'm just gonna Dremel it again, and so I'll take you in here real quick. So if you see, I just Dremeled it around and contoured it right around where that foot peg is gonna go. And if you can see there, it actually looks pretty good. So now what we need to do is we need to make sure that we tighten these just enough so it stays snug, but can still rock back and forth. So as you can see, it's got just a little rocking, okay? Just a little rocking, which is good. We've got the nylon stop braces underneath the feet here. We've got the screws locked into the bolts here, and then they can freely pivot. Now what we need to do, there's a screw on the side here. This screw right here. You need to tighten this up. It's the stop screw. So you have to loosen it so that this plate here is level or parallel with the body. And in order to do that, it helps to have that whammy bar put into place and then tightened up so you can take the tension off of that screw. All right, so now basically what I need to do is we need to make sure that we do the high E and the low E side, and we need to make sure we measure that action height. And we'll measure that until we have it to our desired action height. Might as well show you how this is going to work. But at least you could see kind of what I was looking at here. So unfortunately, I had to take the compartment all the way out, but it won't have anywhere to go, and it will stay in place once I have the new cable to be able to actually change this out, because I accidentally broke it, of course. But it'll go right into this place, and then because of the walls, the battery won't actually move around, and I could still easily change it without having to take the top off every time. So, it'll do the trick. It's been a couple of days since I could get back to this. While you guys are waiting, well, I guess you really weren't. While I was waiting to get back to it, I did get my Dumble pedal in. So we already got the next video ready to go, which I'm pretty pumped about. I can't wait to get this thing built and then actually get to do some tests with it. I'm pretty pumped about this. So, yep, that'll be next. All right. So now we got to get back to our setup here. All right, so now we just got to set up the high E and the low E string, but because I'm tuning this to C, I'm going to do the high C and the low C. And so you can see for the string gauge that I'm using the not even slinky Ernie ball strings, and that's from 56 to 12. All right, so right now I'm just trying to put all the strings on. Still got to adjust that height, but seeing how I got it kind of eyed up, I'm just going to throw all the strings on there. And because I'm kind of having a tough time with that cable that I accidentally broke, I might have to wait a couple of days before I finish doing this, but we'll see what we can get through today. Okay, and I'm not sure if you'll even be able to see this or not. Okay. And this Peterson tuner is very sensitive. So like even if I laid it down, you could see. So you want to try and play as if it's as you're sitting, because that's sitting, standing, whatever, in your playing position. Because just laying it down to tune it is going to affect the tuning. All right, so I was able to go and plug it into the amp enough to figure out what full volume is and what full tone and no tone is, so I could at least put these knobs back on. But because of that cable being broken the way it is, there is just way too much noise on this thing to actually try and tune it properly. So I got to wait for that other cable to come in, unfortunately. But at least I could just kind of finish up doing this. And what I like to do when I'm putting my knobs back on is, because I have it turned all the way up, everything's turned all the way up now. What I just like to do is, from my perspective, I'll put the 10 on so I can see it from my perspective. And when I'm looking down at it, I know that's 10 for me. And when I scroll all the way back to 0, I'll be able to see where the 0 is. And I try and orient that to my perspective looking down on it. So I'm just going to do this real quick. And if I can show you real quick, you take a look when you're looking down on it from this perspective, that's what you see, right? So I can see that 10 from my perspective when I'm playing is right there, right in between the whammy bar and the bridge. And then when I have the other 10, I just offset it a little bit so I can see when I'm looking down at it from my perspective, I could see that 10. And I'll do the same thing for the tone controls on from this side too. And if you see from this perspective, when you have it right about there, when you're looking down, now you can see all four of them have that 10 facing up. So I think I might have to be done for a day, but it's coming along. It looks a lot better. Yeah, I think it looks a lot better with all the gold and with the black knobs and the black pickguard instead of the white one. I think it looks a hell of a lot better. And I'm pretty pumped about getting this thing plugged in and ready to go. In the meantime, I guess I could actually start doing the other project while I'm waiting for this cable. So I might actually just build the Dumble, the not a Dumble pedal, and end up putting that out first, and then it'll come back to this, and then end up finishing this up afterward. I could do that. But if I'm going to build that, I don't necessarily need to do it down here. Could leave this all set up so I'm ready to go. Anyway, I'm just mumbling to myself for the game plan. Turn that off. This is unplugged. As with the battery, you don't want to leave your cable plugged in. That'll kill the battery. So the neck pickup doesn't actually work. I mean, I'm sure it works still. I think I just have some soldering to do, but because we're doing the whole project anyway, there's no, we really can't get a before audio for the neck pickup, as you can tell, right? There's nothing. But we just mess around with the bridge pickup and get an idea of kind of what it sounds like now, and then something after as well. I should equalize the head. Or maybe not. All right, anyway. Okay, well, that's it for now. All right, so we're in a little bit of a different situation since the start of this project. We ended up selling that other place, and we're in an interim spot, waiting until we can find a new place. But we can still do the test for this, the comparison for this guitar from before and after. And I mean, I don't have the pictures of it in front of me from how it looked like before, but I remember it had that white plate, the white pickguard, and this whole setup looks so much better than what it was before. At least I think so. We'll get through some playing demonstration, and then we'll compare and contrast, and we'll see how it sounds in the difference. So as we know, I changed out the pickups to the James Hetfield active EMG pickups. We got the Floyd Rose FRX on here, so we can do dive bombs and pull-ups on any note played, and it's got the locking nut up top as well. We got the whole thing all set up and tuned to C standard, so it should be a pretty dramatic compare contrast from the original video where we were only able to use one pickup. And you know, we'll jam this thing out and see what we come up with.